Good afternoon, welcome to this week's episode of Four Wheels and a Seat. I'm Alex Dalrymple. This is my channel where I review new cars every week for people looking to buy a new car, need a bit of help with which one to get. I can help you out with a simple, straightforward review. You don't want to miss an episode though, so please do hit the subscribe button down below the notification bell, and if you enjoy the video, please do give me a like. Today I'm in, I gotta say, one of my favorite cars. The Genesis G70 holds a special place in my heart because I think it was one of the very first car launches, if not the first car launch I ever went to back when I worked at Men's Health magazine, and I've just loved it. It is such a good car and so much fun to drive. I'm going to tell you why and all about it over the next few minutes. So if you were saddened by the demise of the Kia Stinger, then you can rest assured knowing that its DNA lives on here in the Genesis G70. Personally, I think the G70 is one of the most underappreciated cars on the road. I mean, you don't see many of them about. I've had this one for about 5 days. Haven't seen another G70. So they are unique, they're unicorns. You stand out in one of these. But by the same token, the design is familiar enough that it does kind of blend in with all of the other luxury European cars, even though this isn't European, it's Korean. The last time I was behind the wheel of one of these, it was about 2 years ago. I checked out the Sportback version. You can check out that review just up here. That car maddeningly has a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, which is just not enough to make it go really well, especially since the shooting brake is a little bit bigger than this car, a little bit heavier, and the performance really suffers for that. I'm pleased to report, however, that this particular car has the full-on 3.3 litre turbo V6, and it lacks nothing. It is fantastic. It goes really well. It makes a bit of noise, some of which may not be 100% authentic, but you know, they do such a good job with the augmentation, you can barely tell the difference. And it adds to the theatre of driving this car. The suspension, look, this is a sporty performance car. It's going to be firm, and that it is, but not overly so. It's not back-breakingly firm. It's pleasingly firm, allowing you to enthusiastically and safely go around corners at speed. But you will notice the odd pothole every now and then, and speed humps, yeah, you probably want to take those a little bit slowly. So as I said, the G70 was the first car launch I went to. It was also the first Genesis launched in Australia. And so yeah, that was about 6 years ago. The car has had a bit of an update since then. Most notably, the lighting configurations at the front and back have changed. At the front, we now have parallel lights that look really good with LEDs, and the driving lights do twin duty as turn indicators. The grille has been widened and expanded, and it looks really quite sort of aggressive. I like the design. This car looks amazing in this matte grey finish, by the way. I really like that. And that's a $2,000 option, unfortunately. It does cost a little bit extra, but in my opinion, worth doing. 19-inch sports alloy wheels with red brake calipers make the side of the car look really good. There's a definite mixture of Jaguar XE and Mercedes-Benz, and I think it looks amazing. It's a very sleek European look. Moving around to the back here, well, the comparisons to the Mercedes C-Class are very easy to see, with the light clusters especially, and the shape of the boot. Underneath the powered boot lid is a not very big storage space though, just 330 litres, probably not ideal for a family road trip, but certainly okay for a weekend away perhaps. Oh, and down the bottom, 2 big oval exhausts there that have actually got 2 exhausts inside each of them, so 4 exhausts. And as I said, there's good noise. It's a mixture of the real thing and augmented, but you know, it's hard to tell the difference in all honesty. Now, up the front is a 3.3 litre turbocharged V6 that outputs 274 kilowatts of power and 510 Newton meters of torque, shooting this car to 100 k's per hour in 4.7 seconds. Fuel economy is a less than brilliant 10.7 litres per 100 kilometres. There's an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and that sends power to the rear wheels only. Over its 6-year lifespan in the Australian market, the G70 hasn't had a massive interior update. It has been improved slightly, and that's mostly to do with the tech. So inside, it's still a really good looking design, a nice mixture of soft plastics, leather and metal finishes. It looks really good. The design is very pleasing. Maybe starting to look just a little bit dated perhaps. Car design has kind of moved on just a little bit, but you know, it still has a very strong European flavour to it. The main changes are to do with the interior tech. So there is a 10-inch LED touchscreen, which I wish was just maybe 2 inches bigger, but it's fine. The software on it is also not the latest Hyundai software. Don't get me wrong, it does everything you need it to do and it looks really good, but there are newer versions of this system that include wireless Apple CarPlay. This one does not have that, unfortunately. There is a 14-speaker Lexicon by Harman sound system, which sounds pretty good. The images from the cameras dotted around the outside of the car are nice and sharp. There's also top-down 360 parking as well. And then under that is an all-new climate control system, replacing the 3 large dials that used to be down here is now a touch screen, and it's a little bit easier to use, a little bit cleaner. There's also some physical buttons on the side there, so making adjustments on the fly is pretty easy. Also, temperature controls over here on each side. It's a dual zone system. Underneath that, USB-A, USB-C ports and a 12-volt outlet, wireless phone charging. Everything else is pretty much the same as it was before. This really nice gear shifter that I mentioned in my last review. A couple of cup holders, the drive mode controls, all a nice metallic finish down here, and an okay sized center console bin. Sorry, I did say there was a USB-C port up the front there. There isn't, it's just a USB-A. There is a USB-C in the glove box. Head-up display isn't really ideally positioned for me because I'm quite long in the torso, so my head sits a bit high and I can only just get it into a position where I can see the entire head-up display. It's at its very lowest point at the moment. You know, it's fine, but it could be better. Steering wheel, love this steering wheel, has a great feel to it, nice sort of Euro sort of driving steering wheel. It's not quite the same chunky one you'd get in a BMW, but it looks quite premium with its red stitching and the Genesis badge there that is a bit Aston Martin-like. The digital instrument cluster, I think that's had a refresh since the very first Genesis, but not since the last time I drove it. So we've got 3 different display modes, and there is also a 3D version of the display, adding a bit of extra depth. You can't really see that on camera, but what I would really like to know is how do Hyundai know how to make 3D screens that you can look at with your own eyes, and yet television manufacturers can't seem to be able to do that for your TV at home? That's a bit of a thought for you. Paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel, they change gears really quickly for you. If you change gears in this car manually, it stays there until you turn it off, which is an interesting feature. Most cars will only just stay in manual mode for a few minutes and then go back to auto, but this one stays in manual. The indicator stalks and the wiper stalks also have metal finishes on their ends and they feel quite premium. The seats, Napa leather, heated, ventilated, quilted leather, and just look and feel really premium. I love the red seat belts too, borrowed from the Hyundai N cars, no doubt. And the seating position, nice and low in the cabin, nice and sporty. You really feel like you're involved with driving this car, especially when you're going around tight corners. Headroom, yeah, it's just okay for me. It's all right. Hair just touching the ceiling there, but that's okay. We'll give that a pass. This is a sports car after all. Visibility from the wing mirrors, yeah, it's all right. Drive modes, there's Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and Custom. You can drive around this car in Sport quite happily, and you will notice the extra noise, the extra bit of theatre. You do have to be wary of Sport Plus though, because that does turn the stability control off, and we've had quite a bit of wet weather over the last few days, and I might have just briefly lost the rear end at one point in the wet. So I learnt my lesson and have left it in Sport with the stability control switched on. 0 to 100 in the Genesis G70 is 4.7 seconds. Let's look and feel what that is like. What a noise. That was good. That was a lot of fun and felt very smooth, very in control. So is the Genesis G70 a turn-back car, a car so good looking that you have to turn back and look at it after you've parked it? Oh yeah, yeah, it absolutely is. Compared to the Mercedes-Benz C-Class, the BMW 3 Series and the Audi A3, the G70 more than holds its own, and it beats them all in price as well. The only thing is, it's not European made, but it certainly looks European, and those 3 European cars I just mentioned maybe have moved on in terms of design and technology. The G70 could do with a bit more of an extensive update. However, I'm sure Genesis will address that before too long. But in the meantime, there's honestly very little to dislike about the Genesis G70.